up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my top 10 films of 1987, continuing my series of top 10 films from the 80s. I did promise these on Mondays, but yesterday I had to work and I worked late, and when I got home I was really tired and I actually forgot about it, so I'm doing it tonight. So anyway, let's get started. Top 10 films of 1987. Counting down as always, at number 10, we have Fatal Attraction, directed by Adrian Lyne, starring the great Michael Douglas. He plays a New York attorney married to Ann Archer, and then of course while she's away he has a little affair with Alex Forrest, played by the crazy and great Glenn Close in this film. One of the best sort of thrillers of the 80s, often copied, never really duplicated. Fatal Attraction, many great scenes, of course. The rabbit in the boiling pot scene, always awesome. Yeah, good movie, great cast, great performances. Just a great thriller from the 80s. Fatal Attraction at number 10. Okay, number 9, sad because of course this guy just passed away this year, and that is Good Morning Vietnam, great Barry Levinson film, starring Robin Williams in one of the performances that made him a star, of course, as this irreverent DJ who goes to Saigon in 1965 to stir up the troops in Vietnam. Yeah, this is a really funny film, great performance by Robin Williams, one of his best, and of course very sad that we lost him this year. If you want to watch a Robin Williams film, you can't go wrong with Good Morning Vietnam. Okay, up next at number 8, we have a Criterion, Spy number 552, and that is Broadcast News, directed by James L. Brooks. Great film satirizing news media, about a Washington D.C. News team. Great Holly Hunter performance as the producer, William Hurt as the anchorman, and Albert Brooks, great as well as a TV reporter. Yeah, great film about news media. I remember seeing this in college in a class I took, movies about television. Yeah, it was an interesting class, and this is one of the ones we watched. Broadcast News, great film from 1987, and my number 8 pick. Okay, up next we have a film by one of my all-time favorite director that really doesn't get talked about much anymore, and that is Empire of the Sun, directed by Steven Spielberg. Of course, set during World War II in a Japanese internment camp, and the story of I believe it's John Graham. That might not be right. Jim Graham, sorry, played by the young Christian Bale, of course, who plays a British kid in this Japanese internment camp. John Malkovich, great as well in this film. Yeah, just a beautiful movie. If you want to see a young Christian Bale, and an underrated film from Spielberg that doesn't get talked about much anymore, Empire of the Sun is a really good one. And it's my number 7. Okay, number 6, another Criterion, and another pretty new one. Spy number 422. We have The Last Emperor, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, winner of 9 Academy Awards in 1987, including Best Picture and Best Director. Yeah, beautiful, sumptuous film about Puyi, who took the throne in China at the age of 3 in 1908, and China went through a lot of upheaval and social change during his reign from the Forbidden City. Just a beautiful looking movie, fantastic cinematography, costumes, set design, good cast, people like Peter O'Toole and Joan Chen. The Last Emperor, number 6. Okay, up next, number 5, one of my favorite films of the 80s. Just a really fun movie that everybody loves if you grew up in this time. And that is The Princess Bride, directed by Rob Reiner. Yeah, fantastic fairy tale, starring Carrie Elwes. Robin Wright is Princess Buttercup. The great Mandy Patinkin is Inigo Montoya. Andre the Giant, of course, awesome. Great cast of cameos. People like Carol Kane and Billy Crystal. Chris Sarandon, great as the villain. Just a beautiful film. I love the bookends of the film, of course. Peter Falk telling this bedtime story to a young Fred Savage. Yeah, so many great moments, great lines, obviously. Just a really cool film. Princess Bride, one that's always stayed with me. I love the music as well in this movie. Yeah, just a classic fantasy film from the 1980s. Princess Bride, number 5. Okay, up next, one of my all-time favorite action films. Just a brilliant movie. And that is, of course, Predator, directed by John McTiernan. One of his finest moments, of course. Yeah, fantastic film for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who leads this group of commandos into the Central American jungle on a mission. And then, of course, they realize they've been dropped in the shit when they find out they're being hunted by an alien being who can camouflage himself, almost make himself invisible. Fantastic effects with the Predator itself and the creature design. When you see him in the flesh with the like those jowls and the teeth and the dreadlocks and the way his skull is shaped, all the cool gadgets on his arm and stuff, all the weaponry he has. The showdown with him and Schwarzenegger, just awesome. Absolutely one of the best action movies of all time. Good supporting cast, of course. Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, Bill Duke, and so on. Yeah, absolutely love Predator. Predator 2, not so much, which I enjoy on some level. In films like Alien vs. Predator and even Predators recently. But Predator's still the top of the bunch, in my opinion. Just a brilliant film. Okay, now we have the top 3. Really good top 3, in my opinion. And at number 3, we have Wall Street, directed by Oliver Stone. One of his best films, of course, about New York and investment banking. Michael Douglas, of course, won Best Actor for his portrayal as Gordon Gekko, one of the icons of the 80s and that whole scene. Just a fantastic performance by him. Young Charlie Sheen, of course, wide-eyed Buddy Fox, Daryl Hannah, of course, Martin Sheen. Yeah, just a great film about the 80s, about Wall Street and that whole scene. Absolutely love it. Often duplicated as well. Films like Boiler Room, which is actually a good film. I like that movie. Then, of course, they made Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, which I wasn't a huge fan of. Wolf of Wall Street was one of my favorite films of last year, even though it was a bit too much in parts and a lot of excess in that movie, but still a cool film. But Wall Street, still the top of the mountain when it comes to these type of films. Number 3. Okay, up next, number 2, one of my favorite films from my second favorite director, and that is Full Metal Jacket, directed by the legendary Stanley Kubrick. Awesome film about the Vietnam War. Of course, half of the film takes place in the boot camp, and then the second half in Vietnam itself. Fantastic cast. R. Lee Ermey, just awesome as the drill instructor. The lines that he comes up with in this film, just awesome. Matthew Modine, Adam Baldwin, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, there's some tough scenes in this movie, but always a blast to watch. And one of my favorite films about Vietnam, Full Metal Jacket. Okay, number 1, last but definitely not least, we have The Untouchables, my favorite film of 1987. Directed by the great Brian De Palma, of course, and starring Kevin Costner as Elliot Ness. Fantastic performance by Sean Connery, of course, as Malone, who won Best Supporting Actor for his role. Great cameo or extended cameo, Robert De Niro as Al Capone. Yeah, absolutely love this film. I did a full review of The Untouchables for the Movie Reviewers 100, and I'll pop a link to that video right here and in the description if you want to check it out. Yeah, just a great film set in Prohibition era Chicago. Of course, the music by Ennio Morricone, absolutely love that. So many classic moments, the ending, the border confrontation, the train station, Andy Garcia, of course, great in it as well. The Untouchables, probably my favorite Brian De Palma film, and my #1 film of 1987. So that's my list, my top 10 films of 1987. Let me know what you think of these movies, and give me your list as well. I know a lot of people last week asked me why Aliens wasn't on my top 10 films of 1986. I've always been more of the first Alien fan, a fan of the first Alien, I should say, than the Aliens. But Aliens would be like 11 or 12 if I continued the list. That's why it's not in my top 10 of 1986. So thank you for watching as always, and I'll have my top 10 films of 1988 for you next week. So until next time, I'll see you.
Bond. James Bond.